oh, I don't give in until I get 2 video game remakes. Not one, motherfucking 2 of these bitches, Secret of Mana and Yakuza 2. Both of these are getting remade, and this is splendiferous, fantastical, wonderful news. Honestly, the amount of wrestling references that are being dropped is too fucking hot. Secret of Mana, to begin with, let's just get this shit out of the way. Secret of Mana is still to this day one of my favorite Super Nintendo games. Still to this day one of my favorite co-op games. Still to this day one of the best damn things that ever came out of the Square Enix, well, back in the day, Squaresoft camp. That shit was bar none fucking awesomeness. Incarnate, shoved inside a little cartridge, and off into gamers' memories because I enjoyed the fuck out of it growing up. And the idea that this will be dropping in early 2018, celebrating the 25th anniversary of the series, I'm just like, wait, hold up. It has been a quarter of a fucking century since Secret of Mana came out. That's one of those things where I just stopped and I'm like, I started evaluating a bunch of shit. I'm like, I feel old as fuck now after realizing the dates and ages of half the games that I've got very vivid memories of, and I'm like, holy fucking shit, that's amazing. But this is awesome. But then the fact that Yakuza 2 is also getting remade, do you know how many fucking times I said, I wish that one would get remade? It happens. Matter of fact, that shit comes out in a couple of days. Got it pre-ordered, so it'll be arriving in the mail. By the way, I will be live streaming that here on this channel, so that's something to be on the lookout for. So it'll be Yakuza 1 Remake, Kiwami or Kiwami, however you fucking go and pronounce it. So that and Breath of Fire 3. Yeah! Anyway, enough of the self-promotion. It's my channel, can do whatever the fuck I want. But 2 is also getting a remake, and of course, running off the Yakuza 6 engine. We have no other details other than its existence, and that's fine, because after Yakuza 0 came out, and I was like, everybody should be jumping all over that shit, which, by the way, if you haven't, seriously go pick that shit up, because it's arguably the best damn entry in the entire series. That's saying a whole lot, considering that they've never let me down with a single solitary entry whatsoever. I've just enjoyed everything. One of the best damn video game soundtracks in years. One of the best PlayStation exclusives, period. Just, it's so fucking good. But Secret of Mana, Yakuza 2. These are fucking great. And it's weird because when I got to hear that Secret of Mana was getting remade, and this shit was going to be re-released, the first thing I had thought was, man, I hope it actually has co-op in it, because if not, I'm going to throw a fucking fit like no other. And I expect that local multiplayer, local co-op, and all the other fucking shit is something that just doesn't ever get taken into account at all anymore. They expect that everybody is just going to be on different systems and machines, and on different accounts, and completely different households. Meanwhile, I like to play games sitting side by side with people. That's how I grew up playing games, that's how I still preferred them. As a matter of fact, I always preferred LAN parties over online play. That's just how I've enjoyed playing those types of games. This will have local multiplayer. So that put a bunch of my worries completely at ease. There was some shit was just like, you better fucking have it, you better... Okay, good. I'm glad. Because it goes up to 3 players. It naturally always jump in as soon as possible and get the main character. He's the best one out of the entire bunch. So, I mean, if you don't, you'd be a fucking asshole not to. But still, you can't go wrong with any character that you end up choosing. But it will have that. But looking at it, there was a couple things I had noticed. First off, it had voice acting. I was not expecting voice acting at all, and you might think that that's kind of a preposterous notion just considering, well, it was 2017, by the time it releases, it'll be 2018, so shouldn't you come to expect that? But I really was just expecting all text-based, and that's it. I mean, that's how the original was, so that's kind of what I was figuring would end up happening. Now, this shit had voice acting in it, and it'll have dual audio options. So we can listen to Japanese dialogue or English dialogue. I'm gonna go with the Japanese, because after hearing the American dub of it, I'm typically one of those people that I'm always vouching for properly done English dubs. I'm like, no, that's really good shit. Why are you going crapping all over it? Except for this. I know some folks could say, oh, it doesn't sound that bad. If I've got the option, I'm just gonna go and vouch for something else, and yeah, it really wasn't doing anything for me, so I'm just gonna go for that and just call it a fucking day. But it was weird thinking we had this little top-down perspective, sprite-based action RPG. and now we're seeing it in the third dimension. But there were some minor gripes that I had with this, admittedly. I mean, this looks like a lot of Square Enix's mobile offerings that they have and typically end up getting some kind of port to whatever handheld system that they're deciding to go and fixate and focus any of their attention on when it comes to said franchise. And looking at it, I just wanted a bit more. You know, Secret of Mana for the Super Nintendo visually was one of the most appealing looking games that they had, and I mean, you can still look at it and enjoy the fuck out of it, because I mean, it looks so damn nice. And I know it'll be on the SNES Mini, I know it's in the fucking eShop and that shit, but I had wondered this: why isn't it showing up on a Nintendo Switch? There's a Seiken Densetsu collection in Japan on the Nintendo Switch. Does not exist outside of Japan. That is fucking blasphemy. Cannot even fucking figure that out at all. And I'm like, look, fans are obviously very much hyped as shit about this, considering that this was trending on Twitter, this was trending on fucking YouTube. Obviously there's a shitload of people out there, like a goddamn myriad of gamers, both new and old, who are interested in this. Make this shit available. I mean, for fuck's sake. Secret of Mana and Final Fantasy Adventure, aka Seiken Densetsu 1, are already in English. So, what do you have to go and work on? The third one? I mean, shit, fans translated the third one a long-ass time ago, and while I'm always going to have fond memories and have a biased preference towards the second one, the third one is arguably the best one of the entire fucking bunch, and it seems kind of criminal to not be bringing that outside Japan and make that fucking money. Just do that. Just kind of dumb. Anyway, it's something that's kind of weird because, you know, it originated on a Nintendo platform and it's showing up here on Sony platforms and on PC. I am actually pleasantly surprised it's even showing up on PC, but we got PlayStation 4, PlayStation Vita, PC, no Nintendo at all. Just kind of odd. I mean, I'd already be picking up on PlayStation 4, and I know most people will be like, then why the fuck are you complaining? Because I just think from a business standpoint, that makes the most amount of sense. And I know I'm leaving the Xbox One out in the dust, but I was kind of focusing on Nintendo because that's where this came from. So it's the only reason why I'm just kind of badgering the living shit out of Square Enix, like, so why isn't this happening? Can you please explain it all? Because I can't understand it at all. Just doesn't make any fucking sense to me. I mean, the Switch is still selling well for the few units that they actually put on store shelves. That's being remedied, slowly but surely, but still it's just one of those things like, And we got the SNES Mini. Is this their way to go and circumvent such an issue? I don't know. But anyway, backtracking before I decide to go off on a little tangent / rant. But the visuals of the game, I don't know. I mean, they're fine. They're clean looking, very colorful and vibrant, which I mean the original game was, so that makes a lot of sense. Going and seeing the character models and shit, going and flying over the seas, and you know, it'll be neat to see the world map and shit minus the mode 7, so that'll be kind of cool. But we didn't see anything with like any of the action, how it'll play out. All we saw was just, you know, cutscenes, and that was it. So we're at least getting a taste of what to expect. And obviously this isn't the original soundtrack, this is something that's an actual orchestra, so, you know, we've got that going. But I'm wondering, will the original soundtrack be made available? And I saw that there was also DLC. Had me kind of worried, because I mean, apparently this is going to be a straight up port of the game, but then they're going to have additions to this. I know that if you go and pre-order, you get additional outfits. I know one of them was tigers, and another one was Moogles and shit, so it's like, okay, well, that's kind of cool. I'm just hoping that this doesn't get just overridden with shitloads and shitloads of downloadable content, just kind of fucking with it. But I like the fact that they're adding any sort of additions to this. I just wish that it was put into the game as, like, unlockables rather than options to buy, and hey, if you're there first, you'll be able to go and get it. But, you know, still better than paying later, but for those who aren't showing up early to the dance like this, it's a first come first serve sort of deal. So not exactly all that uncommon for Square Enix nowadays, because if you get a lot of their games, they always include extra content. Like, I don't know, if you get Dragon Quest Heroes 1 and 2, they always give you a shitload of different weapons for every single one of the characters. It'll be like, you know, one of the fucking slimes or some shit. I was about to point at the slime and I forgot I don't have it there anymore, because that shit is sitting all the way up there. If you haven't seen my game room tour, you should watch that. But back to the fucking visuals, I'd seen a lot of folks who were bitching and complaining about this because they didn't like them. Some flat out were absolutely fucking angry about it. Others were in defense of them, saying that they look just fine, and that everybody's kind of just over-exaggerating any of the issues that people are bringing up, saying, oh, I've got qualms and I've got issues with all this and that. And I'm kind of on the fence about it because I think that they look nice, but I also think that's kind of lazy at the same exact point because I feel like that the graphics were done like this on purpose to ensure that this could have a mobile release, which, you know, for Japan, that's a big time focus for most of them, but also, you know, it won't be as taxing and shit on the development team. They'll be able to get this shit done on the cheap. But I feel like for a game that's as illustrious as the Secret of Mana series, it's one of those things I'm like, why can't we have this, like, with some cutting-edge graphics? I just wish it was like that more. And considering the phones that we have out there nowadays, there's plenty that would be able to go and handle any kind of a workload like that. I mean, shit, I'm able to go and emulate stuff that's on the PSP. I'm able to go and emulate Dreamcast and shit on my fucking phone. I assure you 100% this wouldn't be all that fucking difficult. And some of the folks out there that have been bitching about the graphics, that have been just like going over the top, oh man, this looks really fucking shit. Like I called out this one dude, who's like, it just looks like fucking Dreamcast graphics. And it's like, what's wrong with Dreamcast graphics? Well, nothing. Like, you just got done bitching about it in the year that came out and put it into a negative light. Yeah, he eventually just blocked me, so there we go. It's like, I'm not a graphics sound, and then immediately turns into a graphic sound, but still, regardless of that. But I'm interested in seeing how this gameplay is going to turn out, because you figure that we had a top-down perspective with it, so is this going to be like, can we control the camera when we're running around? I want to see what these environments look like, done up in 3D. I want to see what half these fucking elementals look like. I want to see what the magic looks like that we end up acquiring and we're fucking using it in battle. I'm wondering, is there going to be any honest-to-goodness additions to this game that aren't downloadable content? Or is this going to be just the straight-up game? Either way, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, the music that I heard in it, it's not the original Super Nintendo / Super Famicom music, but it still sounded fucking amazing. And one thing I'll always give Square Enix a shit ton of credit for is they've managed to consistently have bitchin' ass music accompanying all of their fucking adventures. So I dig that, but make a Nintendo Switch. And the fucking actual Mana Collection that we're not getting, make that thing a fucking reality and release it worldwide. You know, we're seeing some of the most niche, some of the most middle market, some of the most underground indie type games get Nintendo Switch releases in physical format, no less, because it seems like Nintendo's actually deciding to be a bit more like Sony and making it a lot cheaper, making it a lot more affordable, making it a lot better for devs to go and put that shit out there so people can actually find those games and pick them up. And I'm like, this is a big ass company right here. There's no fucking reason for you not to. And especially when two of them have already made their way outside of Japan. Just makes no sense. So, but still, looking forward to this shit. I mean, it's coming out the day after Valentine's Day of next year, so that's kind of exciting. But why is it $40? I'm just kind of curious about that, because it's a straight-up remake. I was expecting something about half of that, and then go and figure out the exchange rate wherever the fuck you are in this world, because I don't keep up on any of that shit. But for real, I was expecting this to be around $20, maybe $25. And I know that Square Enix has always been kind of just all over the place when it came to the digital offerings and how much that they were going to charge for, because if you look on the mobile market, dude, they were charging out the fucking nose, sometimes like $15, even $20, for one of their most basic ass games that has been released and has been available for fucking years. I'm like, this shit. I mean, we're not getting the game physically outside Japan. We're getting it digital only, so the idea of paying $40 for a remake of a Super Nintendo game that looks like a mobile game and charging $40 for it, to me is just kind of dumb. I mean, again, and I know that I sound like that I'm harping on this shit a whole lot, because, I mean, I am. But as much as I'm hyped, I also need to go and talk about the issues that are going on with it that are also bad, because you can't just go and ignore that kind of stuff. Because I was looking on the fucking Steam Marketplace, I'm like, are you fucking serious? $40? And they're getting it physically in Japan, and they get a collector's edition. But you know, there's going to be plenty of people who are going to end up importing the game. And truth be told, it's an import-friendly game for the most part. I mean, you won't understand any of the fucking dialogue in the game, but you can play the game just fine without understanding it because, I mean, none of it was like shitloads of text or anything because, well, you already know what the fucking menu looks like. Still, though, something I just want to bring up. I mean, do I mind paying that for a top-of-the-line role-playing game adventure? No, I don't have an issue with it. I just feel like, from a marketing standpoint, from a business standpoint, that you would do a lot better by making it cheaper. You know, even if it was $25, I think that that would be probably, like, the maximum that I would ever consider going in on. Now, I know that folks will be like, yeah, but, you know, it's a full-on remake. It is a full-on remake. And it's being done up in this style. Do you see what I mean? I know that they are not pouring in a shitload of money to go and make something like this. I know that they don't have their best of the best of the best people working on this shit because they have them on all their AAA games. And all the work is already done. You're just reimagining it to look a lot prettier. You know, the fact that we are getting English voice acting in it, I thought was kind of impressive because I figured that that would be one of those things that they kind of just took the axe to, but, you know, whatever. Still, though, it's Secret of Mana. It's one of the best Squaresoft RPGs that they ever put out. One of the best 16-bit RPGs. And that says a lot because the Super Nintendo library for role-playing games has always been one of the best. I mean, we had Chrono Trigger. We had Secret of Mana. We had Final Fantasy II. We had Final Fantasy III. We had Breath of Fire 1. We had Breath of Fire 2. We had Lufia 1. We had Lufia 2. We had Earthbound. We had Super Mario RPG. The fucking list goes on, and that's just from Super Nintendo. That's not even talking about, you know, anything on Sega Genesis. You know, Shining in Darkness, Stir of Shining Force, Phantasy Star 2, 3, 4. I mean, there's just so fucking many of these games. This shit's amazing. Random jump cut because my brother showed up to go and pick up some stuff. Anyway, so as I was going and talking about, Secret of Mana is fucking amazing, and it's literally one of the most illustrious titles that comes from a company who was known for doing this shit and doing it very fucking well. And again, we're celebrating 25 years of one of the best damn role-playing games ever in existence, in my opinion. And that's a tall order because the genre is just beaming and exploding at every single fucking seam with top-tier titles, and the fact that this one is actually getting done justice, and it's been re-released digitally on virtually everything, on consoles, on PC, on handheld, on mobile, you name it, it's there, and that's not even including the original Super Nintendo cartridge, which I've got that bitch sitting right up there. It's not my OG copy from when I was growing up, but I've had that one for at least like 15 or so years, some shit like that, I don't know. But Yakuza 2 is getting a remake too, and again, this is something that I've talked about the Yakuza series so many times on this channel, and I really can't stress it enough that you should play through these games. And I know that a lot of folks, whenever they were hearing about many of these, like Yakuza 4 and 5 were already out, they're like, how the fuck am I going to get started on this series when the first two are more and more expensive by the day? I'm hoping with the release of Kiwami, I don't know how to fucking go and say that shit, so I'm gonna say Yakuza 1 and 2. But with that one coming out just a couple more days, this month, and then this one being announced, and you know, it didn't get a formal announcement, it just kind of creeped down to everything, but enough information was leaked, and it made gamers happy, and it was something to expect. I'm hoping for a proper collection, because that would make sense, maybe a re-release of Yakuza 3 and 4, just because I know that there's plenty of folks that didn't go and check it out, and I got into the series from 3. So there was that. But 2 picked up where the first game left off, but just blew up everything bigger and better, and it also didn't carry over the fucking English voice cast that they had, because I'm telling you, it was so good, like, it was so bad it was good. And at least like in the original one, and it's so weird because I played through the game with Japanese dialogue the entire fucking time and just subtitles aplenty. So when I go back and I play through the original one on PlayStation 2 and I hear, it's fucking cringeworthy, but it's funny. Like, it legitimately, you will start chuckling and laughing at it. But that does take away from the dynamic of the game because a lot of it is an extremely serious storyline. So, you know, there's that kind of shit. But trust me when I say this, keep your eyes out, keep your fucking eyes peel. I almost said eels peeled. And like, no, don't peel eels. Don't ever do that. That's... No. But Yakuza 0 is already out right now. Buy that shit. The remake 1 is coming in just a couple days. Buy that shit. And if you were somehow disappointed with both of those grand fucking adventures, I don't even know what to fucking tell you. I'm talking, this is my favorite beat 'em up series of all time. Even more than Streets of Rage, even more than River City Ransom, even more than Final Fight, even more than TMNT the arcade game, even more than everything. It is just so fucking good. It's one of the best things that Sega has done in years, and they've been staying true to this shit. I love it so fucking much. Cannot wait for it. So anyway, that's coming out. There's no release date for it. We haven't gotten screenshots or video, but considering how damn good the first game's remake looks, every time I saw it, I was just like, oh my god, it looks so fucking awesome. And it does. I mean, it's like night and day when you see them side by side. And the first two games were already pushing PlayStation 2 hardware. These ones look like they're doing more the same, so good shit right there. Anyway, opinions and thoughts, feelings, the Secret of Mana Remake is going to be coming out. Are you hyped up for it? Do you not give a shit about it whatsoever? Are you pissed off that it's digital only? Could you give a fat fuck less about that? Do you plan on importing it? If there was anything that you could change about it, what would you change? Or do you think it's fine just the way that it is? Just a lot of shit like that. And then the Yakuza 2 remake, and for fans out there of the franchise, please by all means sound off and let motherfuckers know. Go and scream to the fucking heavens themselves and let everybody know the Yakuza series is fucking awesome. Anyway, this is AlphaOmegaSin. As always, nerds, nerdettes, and gamers, game the fuck on!